Everybody, well, this is still Grim, and you may have seen in Discord, if you're part of the Discord, that there's going to be an update. This is the reskin of Mars into the Earth map. Now, it's not the island. Island's still a separate map completely, but now we have this, which you may think, oh, if it's just a reskin, what's the point? Well, it's going to be a lot easier to get a start, but a little bit more difficult for survival. But there's going to be some different nuances and everything like that everyone's just going to have to get used to. Like, for instance, you come in here, you get lucky enough to find a red barrel, you need to hit the refinery, you got trees in here you could chop down. You barely get in here at the beginning with very little help. There's even cloth in here too. So a few things that you also notice is the sun is actually rising and setting in the proper east and west for the most part now. It's still more towards the top part of the map, kind of like if you're southern hemisphere of the world. One of the things that's amazing about this, though, is just the sight lines. Like in the past, when it was just the Mars map and everything like that, it's actually the same rocks, but with how the cover of the trees are going to work and everything like that, it's going to bring in a whole new level of PvP. Another thing to keep in mind too is the rocks are now different colors, so it's going to be easy to hide your stone base in different areas too. But on my way to Outpost to start this, because I wanted to kind of give a new look, I did see a bear over here, and one of the importance for animals in this game is low grade. In the past, they were just in the domes. Now they are scattered across the map. I believe there's 12 bears to start. If I remember correctly, it could be 8. But yeah, animals are going to be a very important thing to get your furnaces early game. I believe you could still buy low grade at the vending machines. But there are some differences put in where you can't buy stuff like spacesuits anymore, which I think is a good thing because there is a new clothing section. There's more clothing that is here, and there's going to be more clothing being added. So all the burlap stuff you can make with just cloth right away. All the radiation zones with the new clothing update are going to have separate nuances to them too. The spacesuit and the hazmat suit are going to be effectively the same, just a different look, which that's okay. That's going to make it a little bit easier for people. Since we have a lot of other clothing options, collecting cloth and stuff is going to be a lot more important. And there's going to be more clothes and stuff added. And each one does a different level of radiation protection. Believe it or not, this is the road up to the old North Dome area right here. And I'm sure if you go to look at the map, you can tell, okay, it does look the same, but in the Earth reskin, it looks completely different. Just looks amazing. One of my favorite parts, though, is no more constant running on dirt sounds. You now got the running through grass sounds whenever you're going through the grass. And the other part is, too, I got 20 water. I'm going to need to find a patch of mushrooms. No more having to run to vending machines constantly for apples, hoping to find them at fuel stations and other things like that for food spawns. We have mushrooms available everywhere you go. Now, one thing I like about the reskin is if you didn't notice, a lot of the dome areas were completely flat. So there might have been some areas also where you're like, you know what? I would have really liked to build in there. And guess what? Now you can. This is Old North Dome. Now just another part in the map where you could build a base, which I think is quite amazing. Oh, there's another deer. Can't pass up on these animals. Now you may be wondering, what's the great part about the domes being open? One, they're flat. Flat ground is easier to build on, especially when you're doing different level foundations. Not only that, but with the domes being gone, you have more areas to build. So if you actually look up the map and can take into consideration the build block radius around the domes, you're probably adding about 10 to 15% more building location space onto this map. And not only that, getting your start right away, spawning in, is going to be so much easier with all the trees, all the nodes. The nodes and everything like that for resources was reworked. And it was reworked to essentially where you'll notice that they're in groups of 3 everywhere. They were kind of like that in the past, but only in certain areas. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, is he really going to run the map right now just to show all the different areas, how they look with the Earth reskin? Absolutely, yes I am. It's going to be a minute. Luckily, we have the power of editing to get to places easily. Now, I know a lot of people might say, oh, it's just a reskin that's still going to be the same. Are the monuments the same? Yes, with the slight radiation nuances added with the clothing system. Is the different areas where everything is located the same? Yes, it is. Even outposts with its vending machines. But you'll notice something different with the vending machines once this Earth map gets released. Some people will like it, some people won't. But the progression is going to be a little bit different with how you need to play. It's going to be similar, but there's going to be a lot of different things. Now, can you build on the mountains? No, you cannot build on the big mountains still. You can still build on the regular rocks that you were able to build on the Mars map. But as you see, there's just running through, there's resources everywhere. If you end up not being able to find enough stuff to build a base within the first 20 minutes, that's going to be on you from now on. If you run out of food and die from hunger, that's definitely going to be on you from now on. Because, well, there's mushrooms everywhere. And lastly, if you die from oxygen, then I don't even know what game you're playing anymore because, well, there's no oxygen. And I don't think I could stress this enough, just how different the map feels and looks with the reskin to Earth map. Now, if you're curious to how many animals there are on this map, I think there is 20-ish animals at any time altogether. And it's supposed to be a random respawn. I think it's tilted more in favor to deer. But, oh, as you can see, they're going to be everywhere. Now, do the animals need to be worked on still? Yep. Or because any other time this bear would have killed me. Just running up to me and killing me. Yeah, so essentially what I'm going to be doing as I run around too, we're going to be doing a low grade count. That's 3 animals, 2 bears and a deer. Now, if you've ever played this game where you actually hunted the animals and harvest them, you know that how much low grade or how much animal fat, cloth, and bone fragments and everything like that. It depends, one, on which tool you're using, and also depends on just kind of, if you get lucky, whether you get like 50 animal fat from one animal or 20. Especially if you're just using the bone knife, which is one of the best items to use to harvest animals. Oh, food crate. So there are those nuances about it too. Now, if you're wondering if double jump is gone, yes it is, but that's okay. You're not going to miss it. It was fine for some things and needed for some things. It was tied to the oxygen tank, but that's okay. We don't need double jump. We get regular jump and be just as fine. And if you're thinking, well, I had to double jump for the blue keycard vault for the jump puzzle, you do not need to double jump on there. We've already tested it. Multiple of us have ran it without having any issues without the double jump. So all of that is just fine. But yeah, just with the scenery, we have an airdrop coming in. But yeah, everything just feels completely different with the scenery and how everything looks. Now, one thing with supply drops that are coming in on the Mars map, they were every 3 hours. On the Earth map reskin, it is going back to the very, very, very original where it is 1 every hour. Now, if you're thinking that's crazy, that's a lot, Yes, that's going to bring in more PvP. Hopefully. And the best part about this is that plane is still in there. It's still flying. It's going to be up there for a good while. It does not move fast at all, which means you're going to have time to see it at a distance. Try to line yourself up as best you can to try to get that airdrop and run over to it. As we come out of Quarry, we can see fuel station is right there. In the past, you'd be able to see if somebody was on the roof, but now you can't. You cannot check and see if somebody's there on the roof running around before you get there, depending on what angle you're looking at, just because all the trees and resources in your way, blocking your line of sights, making this game more difficult for being able to see people just out in the open. Now you may be wondering, how long does this take? It takes a while, but that is a good thing. To me, it's a good thing, at least, because that means more people will be able to see it. It's loud enough to hear to where people are going to be alerted and people are going to be like, I need a gun, or I want to go get some PvP at that airdrop. I'm going for it. And the fact that it takes a long time means that when you see it a third of the way or halfway across map going down, you still feel like you got a chance to go there and fight for it. It's not such a feeling of, oh, it's going to be dropped and I'm not going to be close enough. Somebody's going to be gone within 2 minutes. No, it's we're going to have a fight on our hands. Let's go get it. If you saw an airdrop come in while you were over here by Quarry and it landed back here by Research, it would have popped and landed before I got to fuel station. This thing is still dropping, and I can't remember which way I can get through because I don't play on this side of the map very often. But it's still dropping nice and slow. Gives you plenty of time to run into PvP. That side you have the old West Dome back behind those mountains. And if you're wondering, the supply signals that you find, are they going to be the same? Yes, they work the same way. It calls in a slower moving plane. That's going to drop a supply package on the purple smoke from your supply signal. Let's see what we got from this one. Puffy jacket. I don't really need that stuff. And of course, Research. Now, I cannot stress enough how much this makes the monuments look different, makes the game look different. Now, granted, it still has the exact same layout but you have all the trees. I did see a deer in the center the other day when I was running Research, so I'm wondering if it could be a bear. I think that would be awesome. But as for this, you could see I'm wearing just puffy jacket, jeans, and a hat. Usually you would have to have a spacesuit on the Mars map to get into this area. That's why I said there's different nuances for the radiation, for the different areas. I'm going to let everybody figure that out. I don't want to have to spoil it for some people, because some people are going to test out different things, and that's part of playing a game, is learning it and testing out to see what works. And I don't want to ruin that for anybody if they want to actually test it out. Yeah, I know coming out from this east side of Research in the past, you were constantly looking around and being like, if somebody catches me, if you're running around this side, I'm going to be out in the open. There's a clear line of sight to see me, or there's a clear line of sight that I could see other people. It's not like that anymore. It's just crazy how much the reskin does to this. I mean, you can still see the plane over there flying away. Now we have our south warehouse. Still looking the same for the building and everything, but notice a deer right there. Did see I was going to harvest all these animals, so let's go get it. But just the simple changes. Simple changes. Yeah, that was not a good look. I only got 2 animal fat from that one. That's not good. I will say one of the first things I noticed about the reskin of this map is it feels like there are so many more places to build a base. And it really, not just because of the trees and everything like that, but just the coloring of everything. I mean, there's pockets that are still there where I never wanted to build a base in certain areas because I was like, well, it's Center Dome. Anybody based in the area is going to be going there for resources. And you kind of just don't base there. Now, if you're wondering, this is Dome State, or now this is the center station. So in the past, there was a dome all the way around. Now it's just gone. Geez, yeah, that just looks crazy to me. It doesn't look like the same spot. All the rock formations are the same, but it does not look like the same spot at all. Even this spot, where it's just felt open and barren except for this area, it's perfect. It's a perfect spot where you can put bases. Now, if you're wondering when other stuff is coming out, I have no idea. No idea. I don't even know when this is coming out. I know it's still, we were given the go-ahead that we could put out content about it, talk about the new map and everything like that. I think it's still being tested on the Quest 2. Unfortunately, Quest 2's for standalone. I know it does put a hindrance on a lot of developers with what they can and can't do. Now, yesterday when I was playing, I came into airfield from the other side and ran into a bear right on the outside of the other entrance, but I'm not seeing a bear on this side, which is nice. Yeah, you got scattered trees, you got some barrels. Just looks amazing. Looks amazing to me. Feels like a new game. I know it's doing the exact same thing. I'm running around doing the same stuff, but just the way it looks. Oh. Radiation. Alright. We got some burlap gloves and shoes on. Let's see what happens. I think I'm still going to get radiation. I feel like I'm still going to get radiation. No? Perfect. Oh. Nope, still there. Okay. Yeah, that's one thing I do want to point out too, with animals spawning in random areas, it is going to cause a need for people to run around to different areas as well. I mean, just kind of the simple fact. It's just kind of the simple fact. If you want to get more animals, to get more low grade and different things like that, you're going to need to explore more. There's honestly, with how big this map is, even with me just running around different areas, there's still probably about 30% of the map that I have not explored. And especially at night, it gets a little more difficult too. Now that it is getting nighttime, we can actually enjoy the campfire. We can go through, we see this. I put a ton of wood in there, so we'll be able to see how far away it is. Oop. And you do get burned when you run through it. But I think it's just like the simple little things, you know. We got that glowing, we got our torch going. Now, I'm used to running around in the dark anyway, so I don't worry about it too much. One thing it'll be nice to check is, you know, when you're coming up to barrels or nodes and things, take out your torch, check to see what it is before you get there. That was not good luck with the red barrels here. We got one red barrel. Apparently the torch is not a good weapon to use for breaking barrels. Alright, well I think I'm going to leave it there, but one last thing too I want to point out to people is for military tunnels, you still have the exit out of military tunnels right here. That is still a radiated zone. When you go over there, it won't look like a radiated zone, but I think that's probably a good thing. That way it warns people or lets people know like, hey, there's something here. I hope you guys are excited about the new Earth reskin. It's just an amazing new look in my opinion. But we'll see how people like it. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you get to experience this map soon.